Hey everyone, Nat Daddy here. Let's do a review of books that came out this week for March 13th, I believe it was. Alright, the books we got here, let's start off with Assorted Crisis Events. This is pretty awesome book actually. I really like the artwork in here and that, lots of detail. We see a woman lives in the city in that, and she lives in a time where there's always some kind of constant crisis event thing going on. So imagine living in like New York City and that, and all the superhero events and all the end of the world events like that are constantly going on, and this is shown from an average person's life. So she's constantly getting alerts on her cell phone about time, temporal differences, and prehistoric monsters showing up, and aliens and that, or giant robot fights. So it just shows her having going through a day of this and that, and it's really quite interesting. It kind of pokes fun a little bit of all the multiverse stuff that we see in books and that all the time. So if you do get a chance to check this one out, because I don't think a lot of people were looking for this one, do check it out. It's a good story, and it is some great artwork as well too. So next, from Mad Cave, we have issue 7 of Flash Gordon. I've been enjoying so many of the reboots of stuff that they've been brought back lately. This, the Dick Tracy, you got the Herculoids and Space Ghost and Baker Mice from Mars. So many old properties that have been brought back in that, and brought back in a great way. Flash Gordon is one of them as well too. I don't think it's getting as much um, talk as other books that have been brought back, say like I said, the Space Ghost and that, but this one is really good as well too. This one has an issue about Flash being brought back to Sky City, where the planet Mongol was blown up and that, and he's starting to find out more things, that, patching in areas that he didn't know about while he was locked up in that space prison. So, good story. I'm really enjoying it. I didn't. I mean, I knew of Flash Gordon, but I didn't do a lot of reading of Flash Gordon stuff or watching Flash Gordon stuff as a kid. So I'm finding this pretty interesting without having to know a bunch of the background. So, kind of like a John Carter for Mars. It's human on space adventures. Lots of fun. That's from Mad Cave. Oh, pardon me. From Geiger, or from Image, we have issue 12 of Geiger. This is ending the first year in that. Geiger has found the glowing woman, so a woman who has powers like him, but she's able to control hers where he can't. So he's with her, and he's trying to learn how to control his powers, and they're still dealing with all the everyday apocalyptic life that's around them as well too. So we see more of Geiger's history, we see more of her history in that, and this is a great book. The art is awesome, and the stories have been great too. So Jeff Johns is doing great work on this book. Like this whole universe of theirs, the Ghost Machine universe, is great. Speaking of, another book from that Ghost Machine universe. This is Redcoat. So Geiger is in the future after kind of a nuclear war. This one takes place in the past. We have Simon Pure. He's the guy in the army outfit here. He's an immortal that's been around since the 19th century, and the stories we see here of him going through history, encountering different famous people. So we've seen him with Benedict Arnold in the past and Albert Einstein, and now last issue was Johnny Appleseed. That was a good one, and now we see him here meeting Annie Oakley. So he's kind of a loser, kind of, no, not necessarily a good guy, but not necessarily a bad guy, and he has this immortal life. So it's lots of fun, kind of like an Indiana Jones, or in the sense that he's having all these adventures and he's not really cut out for it. So great book as well too, especially if you like historical like timepieces and that. So from IDW, we have Mothra, Queen of the Monsters. So this is like in the Godzilla universe, but Godzilla's not even in this. It's Mothra, and it shows here a scenario where she gets killed by this giant ant creature, and now the city is having to live with this, destroyed ant creatures running all around. She ends up finding her sister, who she thought was dead, and she's been taking care of the two little like fairy princesses that are kind of help take care of Mothra. So good book, nice artwork, and we get that first appearance of that ant creature. So lots of fun in there too. You don't have to be a Godzilla fan to like that one. All right. Absolute Superman issue 5. This is the issue that shows the final destruction of Krypton and what happens on it. And we see that Superboy or Superman or Clark Kent or whatever you want to call him is an older here, and he gets separated from his family during the breakup of the planet Krypton and that. And while the planet explodes, pretty much everyone else gets wiped out but him. So still a familiar story, but at the same time too, different enough to keep it interesting, and great artwork as well. So really enjoying this book as well. All right, Amazing Spider-Man number 69. This is the second last issue of this 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, so number 70 will be the last one. They're already, spoilers are out for a while now, it's not a big surprise or anything, but we see that in issue 70, Spider-Man becomes a Juggernaut. And here we have all the Juggernaut fighting against the X-Men, who've all under control of that blight stuff. We see that the children of the Juggernaut god, Cyratek, are fighting amongst themselves, trying to spread that blight as well to take over his father. And we've all of that as well too, and Spider-Man has actually died as well. So Spider-Man gave up the remaining lives that he had from Doctor Doom from Doctor Strange, gave him to survive this death tournament, and he was killed by that son of Cyratek there. So the other sibling gives him life and brings him back, and we see where it goes from there. But at the same time too, it gives him the power of the Juggernaut. So I'll be happy when this is done. I am a Spider-Man fan, but I'm not enjoying this, so we'll see where it goes from there. Well, obviously Spider-Man's gonna use that Juggernaut power and defeat him, so. Something that I am enjoying and I didn't expect to, because I'm not a huge Aquaman person, but we have this new series of Aquaman here, where he's been sent to a different dimension through an Omega portal, and he's learning about what's going on here. We find out more about how there's the power of the red and the green in that, and the Swamp Thing and that. There's a power of blue, water-wise, and it connects everything as well too. And he's learning that he's a part of that. And we see this new villain here, Dagon, which is an old god from like Lovecraft stuff. So they're kind of using some of that old mythology there. So lots of interesting stuff going on there. Some great art. Like I said, really enjoying this Aquaman so far. So, which I don't usually do. So check it out if you haven't. The best Batman book out there right now is Batman Dark Patterns. This is that limited series. I believe it's 10 or 12 issues, so we're at issue 4 here. The first few issues had that Wounded Man character. Now we have this other story starting up here, this other chapter about a tenement building in I guess kind of downtown or a poor part of Gotham. It's called Bleeding Towers, and it's being scheduled for destruction, a new building to go up, and people have all been compensated to move out, and some people haven't. A lot of it is run by gangs and criminal activity. A couple cops went in the building to clear it out and that, and one was killed and one's being held hostage. So Batman goes in there, and we kind of find out that one kind of big gang has taken over the whole building, and it's Scarface. So the ventriloquist. So we see Batman trying to deal with that. It kind of has a kind of twisted, weird, crazy, twist at the end that I won't go into. That really is quite neat. That I'm surprised nobody ever has done before with these characters. So really loving the artwork in here. I do like Harry Haywood Sherman stuff, and the story's been pretty awesome too. So this is the best of the Batman books that come out right now. This book is also pretty good. It's Batman and Robin number 19. They're still dealing with this Memento villain. It's kind of like a serial killer. Follows a pattern every 8 and 18 years in that. He's dealt with Bruce Wayne and Batman in the past when he was a young detective. So Robin seems to be influenced from an outside force here, and maybe looking at breaking up Batman and Robin and maybe retiring in that. So Bruce Wayne and Robin are still having that, or Bruce Wayne and Dame, I should say, are still having that father-son family development going on. But in the background, we have all this Memento stuff going on as well too. It's terrorizing the city. So I'm really liking that Memento character. And we've seen the whole Batman and Robin father-son things play out before, but that's what this book is about all the time. So great story so far, and looking forward to more of the Memento stuff. From Boom Studios, we have the second issue of Brawn Faces. It's about a group of friends who grew up in Africa, and their heritage and their art has all been kind of stolen, and people have been sneaking it out of the country for years and selling it and that. So these four have decided to steal it back. A lot of it was one of their father figures' work, and they're working together to do this now, and they're trying to do a caper on a train this time. So they get a detective that catches up with them, and they do this big train heist, big robbery, and that. So this one's kind of fun. I enjoyed this issue more than the first issue, and we'll see where it goes from there. From Mad Cave, we have Dark Pyramid. This one was kind of fun and spooky. It's about a explorer. A vlogger. He films himself as he goes and explores outdoors and stuff. And as he's doing mountain climbing in Alaska, he comes across a kind of mystical cave and goes inside and disappears in that live on stream and that. So his girlfriend ends up leaving and go try to track him down, and she goes up there and is trying to find him, and she's not getting much help in the town and that. And then she decides to start looking for him in the cave. And as she's getting ready to do so, a townsperson sneaks in and tells her that she's in danger and she needs to get out of there. They're kind of setting her up to be dealt with by this monster creature. So obviously there's some kind of supernatural stuff going on in this town, and her and her boyfriend have wandered into it. So great story there so far too. This is one of my favorite books that I've been reading, I guess, of the year. This is issue number 4 from Mad Cave, so they've been putting out some great stuff lately. This is String. It's about this woman on the cover there with the pink hair. She works for the police as a consultant, but what she really is kind of like, I won't say witch, but she has a power where she can see connections between people in the form of a string. So a blue string is people who are connected, who have slept together, and black strings are how people are connected if you murdered somebody. So for the police, she'll sometimes help them track down a murderer, and right now she's in the midst of a mystery of trying to figure out who murdered someone for somebody, but not the police this time. It's for a kind of a low-life gangster type person. So she's doing investigating in places where she's not really welcome, and everybody knows she has this power, so they kind of shun her and treat her like a witch and that. So great story, very original. I really like it, and I like the artwork, and especially the color in this book. So been enjoying this a lot. String from Mad Cave. Also from Mad Cave, like I said, they've been putting out a lot of great stuff lately. Hexiles number 5, but from Cullen Bunn. We've covered the first 4 issues of that. It's about 6 siblings, or maybe, I can't remember, 6, 7 siblings, who've never met before and are brought together when their father dies, and they're brought together because of his will, and they find out that he was a evil devil sorcerer type of thing, and he's dead, and he had sacrificed their souls to prolong him. So they're learning about how bad he is and how evil he is. They're all staying at this demon-infested castle of his while the will and stuff is going on, and they decide to go into town while one of them is doing research, and they realize that in town they're kind of celebrities and that, so there's obviously something more going to the story than straightforward just reading of a will type of thing. We find out the father is not a great man at all. He's a horrible person. Like you say, he sacrificed his own kids' souls to benefit himself, and it just kind of shows more of that, and kind of bounces from the past and present at the same time. So kind of neat so far. I am enjoying this. I do like Cullen Bunn's writing. So Hexiles number 5 from Mad Cave. From Image, we have the Seasons issue number 2 from Rick Remender. The first issue, we find about 4 daughters or 4 sisters. The Season sisters, they all have the names of the summer, winter, fall. And we find out that their parents have gone missing, and this it is involved somehow with this magical kind of evil circus that travels around from town to town, and wherever that happens, people in towns go missing and stuff. So more of that stuff going on. One of the girls here has been doing research about their parents going missing and how they went missing. That's starting to come and bring more to the story. The one girl here, the youngest, is she's trying to figure out stuff in that too, but she's kind of torn between everything because she is the youngest in that. Really great artwork in here. Obviously, these daughters are have some kind of supernatural ability, I think, as well. Maybe they're kind of like witch children, I'm not too sure. And we have this, like I said, this creepy circus that's trying to get them all together and maybe kill them as well too, the Magic Carnival. So do check it out if you can. It has some great artwork and a pretty neat story so far. And last and definitely not least, because this book kicks ass every issue, we have issue 18 of Transformers. This is the Image Skyborn stuff, the Energon universe. Daniel Warren Johnson's been doing this since the beginning, and I can't believe already 18 issues in. It's so great. Every issue does kind of have reveals or new appearances or kind of spoiler stuff in that. The art is awesome in here as well too. Here we have wars going on in Cybertron between some Autobots and Decepticons. We got the city of Seattle that's being devastated by Devastator and other giant robots in that as well too. We get a new person showing up there. We see him here as well too. Slices one of the jets in half. This book pulls no punches at all. It's definitely has a lot of the original material in there, but it's been updated and kind of more mature in that. So I like it a lot. Like I said, every issue is great. Always something amazing, something mind-blowing, and the action in here is just crazy too. So at the end of this book, Megatron ends up showing up and kind of reuniting, looks like hopefully reuniting the fighting Decepticons. So do check that out. Alright, buddy, that's what I read this week. A lot of great books in here, so hopefully you like some of these and maybe run out and support your LCS and pick up a copy. Otherwise, like, support, share. We'll see you guys all next week.